Real quick, this podcast is based on my own research, my perspective, and the stories I was able to dig up. So I might not have every detail, but a lot of this shit, yeah, it really did happen. So y'all don't come for me. Oh, and I need to warn y'all. Some episodes include violent crimes, rape, homicide, and crimes against children. So listener discretion is advised. They say Florida's all sunshines and palm trees, but we know different. This ain't tourist Florida. This the truth. From Duval to Dade. Because down here, Florida ain't sweet. All right, y'all, we back with another one. Welcome back to Florida Ain't Sweet. I'm your host, Punkin, and today I'm here with my co-host.
Miss Novi, baby. What's good, y'all?
So today's episode is called County Road Collection.
Hmm.
And we calling it that
Okay.
because one unpaid debt allegedly ended on County Road 25A before sunrise. And the man who was dying had just enough strength to tell deputies exactly who did it. But we're going to get to that.
Dang. When I heard that, it makes you think like county line or something like down my way.
We going to
Hmm.
see.
Hmm.
So let's all pile in. Y'all know we got to hop in our box Chevy. And today we're going to take a ride up to North Florida to Lake City.
Oh, so it ain't down here.
Nope.
Dang. L town finna take you to the swamp. Okay.
Now, if you ain't never been to Lake City, it's one of them places where people wave at you on the porch in traffic. And I don't know if they got jail base, but either way, they still know who got locked up last night.
They don't need jail base because everybody knows somebody that knows somebody. Everybody know everybody.
Exactly. It's a place where the pine trees line the highways, county roads cut through the woods, and the streets got long memories.
Hmm.
So tonight's story is gonna start with a man named Travis Rashaul Brown.
Okay, I don't know about the middle name, but we all know what Travis, y'all.
Travis Brown.
I mean, everybody
But
know what Travis.
they call him Slim.
Okay, all right, Slim.
So we just gonna call him Slim because it's too many Travises out here, and I don't want him to get confused with the Travises who doing good in the community.
Yeah, and it's a lot of Travis Brown. That's a common name.
Travis
Hmm.
Brown. So you can imagine how hard it was to do the research for it.
Yeah.
And Travis, his middle name it kind of helped, but not really. But nonetheless, he was born on July 20th, 1996, in Lake City, Florida. Now that makes him a Cancer. Y'all know about them crabs; they always on the episode. They can be loyal
Wait.
and protective, but real emotional. And when they feel like you tried them, they can become dangerous.
Hmm.
Now, before anything goes down, public records show Slim had a long criminal history. It included drugs, firearms, stalking, battery, and a few violent offenses. So, by 2015, he pretty much looked like your friendly neighborhood drug dealer. But just know that if you cop from Slim, he'll front you the product, smile while he hand it to you, but best believe he want every single dollar back.
Wait. You said he a Cancer and his birthday was July 26th?
July 20th,
Oh,
not
okay. I was
26.
gonna say he a
26, he would not
Leo.
be. Yeah, he
Yeah,
wouldn't be Cancer.
I was gonna
No,
say he was a Leo.
no, July
Okay.
20th.
Mm.
Now,
Carry on.
before we hit the crime scene, you know what? Everything that went down, we got to talk about Slim because that's what we do.
Yeah, because it sounded like like some story. Outside of you saying he got a rap sheet, it don't sound too bad. But I know I
I
always
mean,
get
but he
things
your
wrong.
friendly neighborhood drug dealer, so
Oh,
we gonna keep that in mind.
okay.
And really, we're gonna talk about him because people don't usually wake up one day and then be like, you know what? I think I'll throw my whole life away.
No, just don't do that.
Most times, there's been signs. Now, Publicly available information about his childhood is limited, but like I said earlier, the court records paints a picture of a man who's familiar with the criminal justice system. And it,
Like, was it small crimes, like big crimes, or just like little drug crimes? Like,
well, like in the intro, he had crimes that drugs, possession of a firearm by a convicted felon, stalking, battery. So
stalking.
yeah, stalking.
Mm-mm. Ooh,
But
okay, I
sometimes,
don't
it's a
know.
little bit, yeah, exaggerated. You know how they can do sometimes.
Yeah.
So
Okay, all
yeah,
right, so.
it wasn't nice crimes. No, not it wasn't petty theft, nothing like that. Some kind of serious
Mm,
crimes. Ain't no kind of
that was my.
serious crimes. So,
Yeah, that was my point. That was my question.
but just like you said, with his name being Travis Brown, that's probably why I couldn't find much on his childhood, or maybe nobody really talked about it. But it don't matter because by his teens and early adulthood, Slim he had a bunch of arrests, and he was no stranger to intimidation or force. So you know what that
Mm,
means.
mm-hmm.
If he said it, he motherfucking meant it. If he was fully, he motherfucking spit it. Fuck whoever higher said it.
Hey, Slim sound like he was a rude dude.
Now
I
y'all
said
know
what I said.
some people get a second chance and they straighten up. And then there's other people who get a second chance and they think they invincible. He got down
Child.
Superman.
Mm.
So not only was Slim like the friendly neighborhood drug dealer, he was also what he thought was a neighborhood banker.
So he gave out loans, and when
And
people couldn't pay him back,
he
you know what
fronted
happened.
his drugs like payday loans. So don't
Ah, okay.
fast approval, no credit check.
Mm.
But if you
Get
miss
you
your
right.
payment, the late fee
That,
is fuck around and find
that,
out.
that's your ass. Mm-mm.
So you already know how he moved.
Definitely.
So now we're gonna talk about a man named Gerald Osborne.
Okay.
Gerald with the G.
What he had in relation to Slim.
They about to tie in together. I'm about to tell you.
Okay, okay. Okay, okay.
So Gerald Osborne, he was more than just a case. He was a man who was struggling with addiction. Now y'all know we done talked about this disease plenty of times.
Mm.
According to trial testimony, Gerald regularly purchased goods from Slim, and often he did it on credit.
I love how you say purchase goods.
Purchase goods.
Okay,
You
okay,
know,
okay.
a little roundabout.
I'm gonna get serious. I'm gonna get serious. Go ahead, go ahead. Okay.
So sometimes, like the people said that Slim get Gerald in his car and he'll drive him over to the bank so he can withdraw cash. I guess he be fronting him until he get his check.
He one of them. Dang.
Yep. So now,
Mm-mm.
you already know this dynamic because you got one man that's addicted and then another man who got the
Mm-hmm.
supply.
Yep. The functioning addicts. Yep.
So now in between, it's a big ass debt that keep getting bigger and bigger.
And bigger that he can't get out of.
And that pretty much mean that before he even get his check, it's already spent.
Gone.
The problem is when you out here in the streets, patience is limited. The
Very.
plug, he might smile today, but every unpaid dollar is disrespect.
Yeah. Ain't no running off on the plug. Not once or twice.
Steady calling, I ain't calling bite.
Ain't none of that. That man wanted money.
Now, Gerald may have thought he had more time and he had more credit, but Slim, he was ready to collect right there and right there. And the final countdown started on a trip to the ATM.
Mm.
So between 4 and 4:25 in the morning, cell phone data showed Slim was his phone, not necessarily Slim, but his phone was traveling north out of Lake City towards White Springs. That's about a 20-minute ride.
Why they was up so early? What
Yeah,
the hell?
hey, when you the friendly neighborhood drug dealer, you don't go to bed. You're gonna miss out on
That's
your money.
true. They phone be ringing all the time. Like,
So if
mm-mm.
you know anything, I mean, you know, friend, but if y'all don't know nothing about Lake City, it's some dark roads. Ain't
Yeah,
no street lights,
some
nothing but trees on both sides.
some backwood roads, try borderline little sundown town around us.
No traffic, ain't no people, just woods and swamp and whatever business is brought out there.
Like the song say, L town for the take you to the swamp. They ain't lying about it.
This the kind of drive where your headlights are the only thing you gonna see.
Oh,
So Slim and Gerald, they leave Lake City in a gray Cadillac. And like I said before, Gerald thinks he got more time. He think maybe he can get another chance to pay, maybe he can get another chance to go to the ATM. But Slim was all done with giving out extensions because you know him, he don't do extensions.
And on a dirt road, ain't no ATM back there, girl.
The
Mm-mm.
account was past due, it was time to pay up.
Oh, child.
You right, ain't no bank back there, but it was time to collect.
See, my thing with that is you go ahead and off the man, then you
Yeah,
ain't
how
finna
you
get no
gonna get
money at
paid?
all.
How you gonna get paid?
Yeah,
It don't
that
make
was
sense.
dumb. It don't make sense. You at least gonna get something while the man breathe. That's
Now
the
when they
part I
reach
ain't get.
when they reached County Road 25A, the final payment was due. Now it's around 4:30 a.m. And it was some people that was traveling along County Road 25A, and they found a man laying on the side of the road. It was
Mm,
Gerald Osborne. He had been shot twice, but he was still alive.
dang.
But at this point, his body is failing, blood is leaving, his last breath getting shorter. And in those final moments, Gerald used what little strength he had left
Just, just tell who
to
did
tell
it.
them exactly what happened. He
Mm-mm-mm.
said a man named Slim picked him up in Lake City in a gray Cadillac and drove him there and shot him. Now, this
Dang.
statement is what lawyers call a dying declaration. And unlike lie
Mm.
detector tests, juries tend to take those words serious
Well, yeah, that's the man last word, so he died. And
because
them witnesses,
how they feel is when somebody know that they about to die, they don't have no reason to lie.
exactly.
At this point,
Exactly.
Gerald had named 10 people. He say he wasn't sure. He said Slim
And that's one person. And he told the car and told what happened. Them was a
specifically.
couple of breaths before his last. He was smart with that though.
Very. But unfortunately, before the sun came up over Hamilton County, Gerald
He
Osborne was
died.
gone.
And yeah.
But even though
Them
Gerald died,
gunshots.
his words stayed alive because investigators was just getting started.
And I was gonna say them gunshot wounds probably like pierced something. And he bled to death.
More than likely. I didn't even look
Dang.
it up to see. I just know he gone.
What year this was?
It was 2015.
Dang. Why it sound like something in the 90s? Something about a gray Cadillac.
Yeah, I
I
think it was
mean,
like an Escalade type.
Cadillac's still pumping y'all. Don't come for me, y'all, in the comments. Cadillac still be rolling, but like, ain't nobody like, oh, I'm finna go get a Cadillac. No.
But you people still buy like Escalades
Yes,
stuff like that. It's some other cars that's pretty decent.
yes.
I think our classmate got one.
But it just take you back. Like, when you think about a Caddy. Now, don't get me wrong, they new little SUV is nice.
In my
It's nice.
Cadillac.
Yeah. See, that was the 90s with no limit and all that, there.
Now, once deputies heard the name Slim, the investigation kicked into high gear.
They already knew who he was because he had so many run-ins.
Man, my dog was rough out here in these streets.
They probably were ready to him up then.
So what they did was they subpoenaed Gerald's phone records, and they found
Mm,
repeated contact with Travis R. Brown. So
mm,
now the detective's spidey senses go up because they heard something else. Now the thing, remember, it was the Cadillac, the little gray Cadillac.
mm-hmm.
Now the Cadillac was owned by his girlfriend, Calandra Perry.
Dang. Yeah, they don't never put nothing in their name.
Cause y'all already know if you
They can't.
riding in your girlfriend car though has helped solve more Florida cases than some detectives. They think
But
that
you
borrowing
know,
your girl car is oh that's a slick move.
but most of the time, a lot of them can't get nothing in their name because they got cash. They don't be having,
They ain't got
credit.
no credit because you got to
Exactly.
verify your income.
Exactly. So a lot of them be putting stuff in other people's names.
Well, that's what he did, and they got a search warrant for her truck. And when they
Mm.
searched it, they found two important pieces of evidence. They found Slim DNA, which proves he was in there, and they found Gerald's debit card.
I mean, the DNA part, well, does his old lady car. But when you find evidence of Gerald's, yeah, man.
Right. They said like that wasn't just suspect. It was
No,
paper
hell
trail with
no.
leather seats.
Hell yeah. That right
Now,
there, you down.
this is where things get worse for Slim. Now, less than 30 days before Gerald Osborne was killed, Slim had been involved in another shooting in Lake City.
Well, God darn Slim, he know everybody know him now. How you gonna? Oh, that's dumb.
They pretty much said that he fired his gun from a vehicle towards some people in a car, and the police found 8 shell cases from that scene, from that crime scene.
Yeah, so
Now,
they been building stuff up.
when Gerald was murdered, at Gerald's scene, investigators found shell casings. Now, FDLE, Florida Department of Law Enforcement, they compared the two casings from both
And they
crimes.
match. And they match.
They was from the same gun, same
Yep.
caliber, same weapon. He kept spinning the block with the same tools and not a tool selling on him.
I tell you, be so dumb. That's dumb.
So the state, like the prosecutor's office, they introduced what was called a Williams rule evidence. So in plain English, they pretty much were saying prosecutors are allowed to show a prior crime because it helped prove the identity of a new crime because there was no eyewitnesses to the actual murder.
Dang.
Make
They
sense?
be coming up with
Everybody
some
got it?
junk, man.
Y'all took notes.
That be coming. They be coming up with some junk, boy.
It's puzzle
But it
pieces.
makes sense.
Now remember I said he was riding in his girlfriend car,
Uh huh.
Calandra?
I was about to say something else. I'm glad I ain't tried.
Calandra, that's her name. Now, she was caught up between loyalty and the truth.
She better not be no for my man type of chick.
It sounded like it was about to be a For My Man episode.
Oh hell,
Now, at first, she said, "Nah, I wasn't with Slim that night. I was home. I was watching TV. I ain't
bruh,
have
start
time."
lying. Bruh, start
She
lying.
went with him.
Girl, just lie.
Now, later, Slim allegedly sent her a handwritten letter asking her to tell his lawyer that he was with her that night.
Now
Like,
how in the hell she got the handwritten letter? I want to know this.
in other words, dear baby, I need you to ride
Girl,
for me. Tell them folks I was with you.
I'm trying to understand how she got the handwritten letter.
Oh, he sent it. Some kind of way he sent it.
Shall somebody show up? Oh, this letter for you. What? It's 2026, man.
Man,
Nah. Send me a full page letter. They can write me a letter. They can write. Not that kind of letter.
I don't want to close it with no kiss for this. This is a mess. This is a hot mess.
That's crazy. So now she in a hard place. She a rock in a hard place.
Yeah, this ride or die don't sound romantic when the die part is literal.
Mm-mm.
So, in recorded interviews, Calandra admitted she was a suspect. But if Slim was innocent, why did he need her to lie?
Yeah.
It's a cover up. He trying to cover up his track. Now the
Mm-mm.
problem is when the trial started, she changed her story again.
Damn.
She said that the prosecutors pressured her and that the earlier statement she made was a lie.
Mm.
So now the jury had to decide if she protected him or was she telling the truth.
Mm.
What's going on, Shawty?
Yeah.
Either way, y'all know how it is when people keep lying. Now we don't know whether they telling the truth or not. So her credibility is wobbling like a shopping cart with one bad wheel.
Yeah, because you don't know what to believe at this point.
But the state, they was gonna use every statement she made against her. You know,
Mm.
the prosecutor's office, they don't care.
Yeah, they gonna document how many times you change your story.
It's starting to get real messy. You know, people writing letters from jail asking for alibis, and y'all know how them jail letters be. But
That's a mess.
according to testimony, Calandra told investigators that Travis Brown, aka Slim, had sent her that letter, you know, saying that she was with him that night to tell them. At first, she was saying that she was with him. You know, that's my man. I'ma sit beside him. But
Okay, my man.
after learning about the evidence that he called Wells Fargo 17 times to get money out of Gerald's account,
17 times.
17 times trying to get money out of Gerald's account now.
So he gotta be the dumbest.
And then it was cell phone, like his cell phone being tracked to the murder scene and just a whole lot of other shit. She
It's
was thinking,
messy.
why would he need to lie if he was really innocent? Like, this ain't right.
Mm-mm.
So she told investigators that Slim's lawyer kept asking her, so you was with Travis when he was making them calls to the bank, right? You was there, right? You was nearby? You heard the calls he made, right? And she kept saying no, no, over and over again, no, sir, no, sir.
Mm.
Now, that testimony later became part of his appeal, where he said those statements hurt his defense. The appealing court, you know, after he filed his appeal, they felt like if you
Mm-hmm.
put a witness on the stand and that witness has told multiple stories, the jury just get to hear all the stories. Like,
Mm. To some extent.
they weren't taking that back. And
Well, yeah,
once
in that case.
they played the tapes, you know, of her telling all these different stories. So the jury got an unfiltered look at the cracks in Slim's alibi.
Mm.
Now, y'all my people, so y'all already know if you're doing your little 1-2 on your phone, it's heavy on the delete that, erase that, wipe the phone. But just
Sure.
know that pressing a button don't make reality disappear.
It sure don't, 'cause they can track it.
Slim was brought to the police station. Investigators had a recorded phone call where he said he deleted the cell phone.
Oh, you dummy.
Yeah,
He's so dumb.
he talking at the jail.
Just dumb. Now you got to be a big dummy. Everybody know them phones record.
Now, later, a forensic review of the phone realized that most of the data had been erased. But here's the thing.
Mm.
I work in IT, so I'm already knowing that deleting your phone after a murder gone have people looking at you sideways the same way showing up to the barbecue with a lighter fluid and we ask you to get cold.
Child, I watch enough of forensic crime stuff for my men, all that, to know that that was dumb as hell. Okay? To
It,
think that you can erase something. No,
it pretty
ma'am.
much basically said to the prosecutors that I don't even need to read the text. It's the mere fact that you erased everything that said that you had something in your phone that you didn't want us to see.
Just dumb.
Because when you start cleaning up before anybody even accuses you of anything, people gonna wonder what you trying to hide.
Exactly. That's gonna be the first question. Like, what you trying to hide?
It's not making sense.
At all.
But what he didn't know is prosecutors, they didn't have one clue. Like Pootie, they had many times heinous, and it was all headed straight to the courtroom. Now, by the time
Mm.
Slim went to trial, the state had stacked up a mountain of evidence taller than them North Florida pine trees,
I'm sure they did.
and
They went to
every
town.
piece pointed to him.
Damn. They wanted to get him under the jail.
They originally charged him with first degree murder while armed.
Mm.
That charge meant the state believed this killing was premeditated, planned, intentional,
Yeah. They ain't look good for Slim.
at all. So during the trial, jurors heard about Gerald Osborne's dying declaration that identified Slim as the person who shot him, the ATM footage that showed Gerald trying to withdraw money,
Mm.
17 calls from Brown's Travis or Slim's phone to Wells Fargo trying to get in
Mm.
Gerald account, The cell phone data tracked him through Hamilton County. They got Gerald debit card inside a Calandra Cadillac and his DNA. And they got what's the name DNA, Slim DNA. They
Mm,
got testimony that said, okay, yeah, Slim is who used to sell the drugs to Gerald. And they got
mm,
the fact that he deleted the phone. And they got that he had shot the gun 30 days prior to that. The same gun. They got
he
the
just,
shell casings.
they just stacking it on him like some Legos.
Man, that can you imagine his as a defense attorney, you starting to look for miracles at this point. They was like, dog,
Cause how you gonna get out of there?
bruh, I don't even know what to tell you, bruh.
That's in that point where you be seeing people like, oh, this lawyer done dropped out from the case. They didn't walk away. Cause it's like, what you gonna do?
I don't know. It's crazy. They trying, but so basically what the
Mm-hmm.
defense did, because they felt like they ain't have no little hands, they big dogs. They pretty much decided that their biggest weapon was gonna be Miss Calandra.
Uh, Child, I don't know about Biggie. Yeah, I don't know about that.
Now, when they
But
put
let's
Miss
see.
Calandra Perry on the stand, that's when the courtroom turned into drama.
Ooh, child.
At first, she tried to provide Slim with an alibi. She was like, Travis, aka Slim, was with me that night. We was together, Netflix and chill. Y'all need to find out who really killed that man. Y'all need to look at Travis' brother. Cause everybody know they look just alike. They already said he was the one who really shot that car up back in May. It probably was his ass who shot him. She tried to blame Travis' brother for the crime.
Yeah, she just trying to just do something.
But
Hey, he needs your help.
it clearly, as much evidence as they had,
How? Huh.
she trying to add somebody else in it. But
Exactly.
the prosecutors, they get to cross examine, and they came with
Mm-hmm.
receipts. They confronted her
Mm.
about prior statements she made, where she said she didn't know where he was that night.
Oh
And then
no.
another time, they found out that she wasn't even staying at home; she was staying with her mother that week.
They just was all over the place.
Then she also said back a while back that she saw him fire the gun in that original shooting,
Mm-hmm.
the way he was just firing the gun out the car.
So she must have been in the car with him on that one.
Actually, you know what? When I looked up the police report, she was in the car.
I knew it.
She was in the car.
Mm.
So with all of that, since the prosecutors, they coming out of boom, 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 then she like, y'all don't understand. I had to lie. I had to. I felt threatened. I'm
So
being
she crying.
framed.
So she
Travis was
crying.
always cheating on me, always trying me. I was just mad.
Ooh, all the dirt coming out.
Child,
Yeah,
that testimony was spinning harder than the ceiling fan in July.
I'm sure it was. Cause that's a mess.
One minute she riding for the man, the next minute she accusing prosecutors of pressuring her. Then
But I
she,
knew that was gonna crack. I knew that was gonna crack. Because when they got in her face and told her what it really was and then what could happen to her, oh sister's gonna start singing like a canary. Okay? Girl straight singing.
no,
One gonna be no riding.
nope, not at all. I mean, she did admit that she lied, even in what I just said. She admitted she lied
Mm-hmm.
and that she was lying right now. But at some
Uh,
point, the jury had to ask themselves one question: which version was the truth?
that was a few different stories.
When a witness changes stories more times than Florida weather in May, jurors tend to focus on the physical evidence instead.
Yeah, 'cause that's a lie. That's a lot of lying.
A whole lot of lies. Just like they got a whole lot of thigh.
Mm.
Now,
So how she got out of this?
after days of testimony, arguments, and enough contradictions to fill up a whole
Mm-hmm.
notebook, the case was finally in the
Mm-hmm.
jury's hands.
Okay.
They began deliberating at 9:29 a.m. And for more than 6 hours, 12 people sat in the room and tried to answer one question: did Travis Brown kill Gerald Osborne? Now, y'all want to know the answer? Well, stay tuned. Now, this wasn't a simple decision. When they finally returned to the courtroom, the verdict was not first degree murder no more. Instead,
I don't think it should have been.
The jury found him guilty of a lesser offense of second-degree murder. And that pretty much meant the jurors were convinced that Travis did kill him with a depraved mind, even if they were not fully persuaded that the killing was premeditated beyond a reasonable doubt. Now, in my Florida accent, the jury may not have had agreed that Slim planned every detail from the jump, but they was convinced his actions was so crazy that that's why he did the murder. And just like that, a man known as Slim was headed to prison for life for killing Gerald Osborne.
Yeah, 'cause they was gonna get him for that, honey. So what happened to Calandra? They let her off, or did they have her on
I didn't
anything?
even look it up to see. I ain't even care. That's sad because I was like, this is
Cause,
a mess.
'Cause when you lie so much, I forget the charge that and you actually were a part of it at some point. When you lie under oath, I forget that charge.
Contempt of court, but if you lie on the oath, but she could she could have been charged with some type of
Some type of
aiding or
perjury
something.
or something.
Right. She could have been charged with that.
Yeah.
Um,
It can't really be tampering with evidence, but I know definitely perjury.
actually,
Obstruction of
obstruction of
justice
justice.
too. Yep. Yep. We called it together.
Let me let me see. Actually,
But that's crazy that they finally pinned him on that because nothing else could really stick. It seems as the story was going on, he did things, multiple offenses, and he would get right back out.
right.
But that right there, they was ready to bam.
She it don't look like she in jail or nothing.
I wouldn't doubt it. I just maybe thought that she would have got charged with something because I'm sure they got aggravated with her and just wanted to hit her with something. But I guess not.
Look like she got some other shit where she was arrested back in 2013. Looks like she was arrested because police said she attacked her children and then she attacked the officer.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, it's kind of looked like she was choking the kids. Like this sound like a mess.
Oh,
So they had to taser her and got that's how they got her to release the children. And looked like
what
she
the
got Baker at
hell?
it.
Oh, shoot.
It's
She done
clearly
down
something was
lost her
wrong.
mind. Yeah.
Hey, I mean, Travis ain't cheat that much for you to choke them children out.
She just was, she was losing it.
So we know she done been to jail, but I don't know if she went to jail for this particular crime. I'm gonna check one other place and see if her name come up.
I
Um,
know that child was gonna get him life. That was crazy.
so she did not. She didn't go to what? She's not in prison right now. She did get arrested, and she got 2 years for that crime where she
Choking her turn.
yeah choked the kids out.
Crazy ass.
Yeah, yeah,
Damn.
she got in trouble for that.
They both went out kind of sad.
But
I wonder if they had kids together.
moving
Mm-hmm.
right along. So, if you get charged with life, they make you do an appeal. So, not Gerald, Slim, he did an appeal. And he chose to fight. So,
Mm.
when he appealed his conviction, he argued that the trial court should not have allowed evidence from the May 2015 shooting where he was shooting out the car.
Mm.
His attorney said that the prior case was too prejudicial and would cause jurors to think if he shot at people before, he probably did this too.
Mm-hmm.
They also argued that parts of Calandra Perry's recorded interview improperly undermined the defense and cast suspicion on Brown's lawyer. But the appealing court looked at the record and said, no error. The judges
Yeah.
ruled that the prior shooting evidence was highly relevant because the same gun was used in both incidents.
Yeah, that's what messed them up. I was gonna say that. Did dummy.
And they also said that Calandra's prior statements were proper impeachment evidence after Travis chose to call her as a witness. In other words, if you bring a witness to court, you don't get to hide the different versions that they tell from the jury.
Like, yeah, tell this, but you
And
can't
if the
tell that.
same firearm connects two crimes, then the state can use it.
Yeah, pretty
So
clear.
pretty
Something like that.
much, Travis. Your conviction stands, and the
And he
verdict
was
still
bait.
remains.
He was bait, boy. They weren't finna let that boy get out. He could forget it.
You already know what they said. My dog with grits.
Hell no. They say he wasn't getting out. Hell no, no. He was not getting out.
So what makes this case hit a little bit different was there wasn't no conspiracy, no $1 million insurance policy. It was something painfully common, especially in Florida, a drug debt. One man trying to get high, one man trying to get paid, and now somebody dead. Just everyday street
Mm-mm-mm.
business.
Yeah, definitely street business.
The kind of debt that people shrug off until it becomes life or death. And it's one of the harsh
Yeah.
truths about Florida crime is sometimes the motive is real small,
Petty.
but the
As
consequences are
ever.
permanent.
Man, life changing. Hell, sometimes you don't have life no more. As Mr. Pojero.
He only owed a few dollars. Now he got to take a ride down a dark county road, and suddenly a family is planning a funeral.
Well, how Slim acted, it was more than a few dollars.
Every
I
missed
don't know how
payment
much.
adds interest, and when somebody
He,
decides to collect the final payment, sometimes it got to be paid in blood.
yeah. But sometimes they gotta think, like, I mean, break a finger or a hand, like the stuff you see on the movie. Not take the whole man's life. Like, that was stupid.
So that's the story of Travis R. Brown, aka Slim.
Yeah, Slim, he was tripping, man. Caused it on himself.
So yeah, what you think?
Well, I know one thing. He ain't never getting out, boy. He ain't gonna see Lakeland boring streets no more.
Lake City,
I mean, dang. Yeah, that's. Oh, shit. I'm talking about Lake City.
Lakeland probably got more going on than Lake City.
Well, hell, that's the swamp song. Dang. Well, yeah. And Lake City, ooh, wow. Real deal sundown towns up there.
For real.
Hate Lake
He
City,
probably was bumping
man.
in them streets though, cause you know what I'm saying. You could ride through some of them. It don't take but one person. They had a whole city bumping,
Man,
but
them
it's
people
still,
be
you
out
know, a lot of
waiting to
them
give
people
you a
up
ticket.
there. They ain't got money like that. That man probably was just. It's an older man, so Gerald probably was waiting on his check. I mean, that probably was like
Yeah,
his social security check
exactly. It's like how much you thought you was gonna get, and now you ain't gonna get nothing.
that you done took the man to the ATM and get no money. You mad? You gonna shoot him? Like I don't know. That's why I can't be no drug dealer.
That was crazy. It was like, 'cause now you ain't gonna get nothing.
You
I
can't
don't
even get your
understand
money.
that.
How you gonna get your money if he dead, bro?
Crazy, crazy.
Yeah.
Mm.
So it's tough out here,
Well,
man. Don't get your. The moral of the story is, if y'all gonna buy drugs, make sure you have the money. Don't get it on credit, okay?
yeah, 'cause you gonna have to pay up.
If not, just say no.
Yeah, definitely say no. Just say
like
no.
like it's that easy.
Yeah,
No,
just say no. Just say no.
no,
The best thing to do.
it really is. I mean, but we've talked about this previously. Like some people have real deal addictions, and it's very hard out here. They can't function without the drugs, or they feel like they can't function without it.
Yeah.
So he was gonna spend that check regardless.
Yeah, one way or another.
I'm gonna find
Mm-mm-mm.
you. I'm gonna get you, get you, get you, get you.
Yeah, they definitely got him. He wasn't getting loose this time.
Nah, they wasn't finna get him this time. But yeah, I
Mm-mm.
mean, at least I took you to the country, but we left the county this time.
Yeah, that's definitely a good way to put it. This country is ever in northern Florida around now.
I feel like they got a nice like a diner or at least like a Zaxby's or something we can stop at and eat while we up here.
I don't know about no dino. It's something on there. I'm sure McDonald's. I don't know about no
We
dino.
have McDonald's.
Yeah, yeah.
But all right, y'all. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure you listen on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcasts. Follow Florida Ain't Sweet on TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, all at Florida Ain't Sweet, or on Instagram at Florida Ain't Sweet Pod.
Be sure to tell a friend, tell somebody. No matter who it is.
At least on these
Tune
platforms, you
in.
could share it. You just hit the
Yes.
share button. Also, if you got a Florida case you want covered, missing persons, cold case, wrongful conviction, urban legend, street mystery, whatever, you know what I mean? It sounds interesting enough. Email the show at FloridaAintSweet@gmail.com. And like you just said, friend, tell somebody about the podcast. Tell the IT
Yes.
tech at your job, the lawnman, your cousin homeboy, the lady at
Baby daddy,
Starbucks.
baby mama, your auntie, anybody.
Because they
Just tell a friend.
all want to hear these stories. They all want to hear about it.
Mm-hmm.
And how they going to hear about it if y'all don't tell them?
Yup.
I would tell your aunties and your uncles and your cousins too for you, but I don't have their phone numbers.
Y'all just be sure to spread the word, y'all.
Until next time, this is Florida where the sunshine don't blind us and the streets don't lie. It's real heat in these streets because
Cause
Florida
Florida
ain't
ain't
sweet.
sweet. We out, y'all.
It be large.